So I know that I've been very MIA lately. I have not filmed in months. Reason being is because, of course, it's gonna be the exact same excuse as always. I get really busy, I go to school, I work. It's just really hard for me to find time to actually film these looks because the times that I actually do find, I'm either very exhausted or I make other plans, and so I never really get the chance to sit down and film a look. But today, fortunately, I took the time just to sit down, just to film. I am really tired because it's been a crazy month, but I still decided to do this. In fact, I was so tired. I wanted to wear green contact lenses for this look, and I forgot. I was really tired. I literally started filming right away, and I completely forgot. I thought it would look sexier with the green lenses, but I don't know. I'm kind of checking myself out with my brown eyes, and I think this looks pretty decently attractive. I don't know. You tell me. But yes, there's really not a lot to say about this look, except if you want to see how I did it, then all you gotta do is just keep on watching. And for today's look, I'm going to be using a brand new eyeshadow palette that I just bought called the Tartiest Pro palette. It's been out for a while. It's brand new to me because I've never owned it before, and I've always wanted to have it. So I treated myself the other day and purchased it. Now, this palette comes with a lot of shades in it, especially this really beautiful blue shade in the corner that I can't wait to play around with. But first things first, I'm actually going to take care of my eyebrows, and I'm not going to do anything too fancy. We're just going to do some guy glam today, kind of like if, you know, you're a guy, you want to wear a smoky eye out in public because you don't care what the fuck people think. So we're just going to pretty much fill in our eyebrows for now. For that, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and I'm in the shade Ebony. I'm not going to do anything too fancy with the eyebrows. I'm basically just filling them in, giving them some shape and some little dimension. For this, I'm just trying to make my eyebrows look better. I don't really plan on carving them out with concealer. I don't plan on doing anything fancy like that. I just want to make them look a little tiny bit better and a little tiny bit fuller. And I'm kind of changing the shape of the brow just a tiny bit, just making sure that the arch is really defined. And I'm going to go ahead with my brow spoolie, and I'm going to brush through these brows. Gonna go ahead, do the same on this side. As you can probably tell, I have been breaking out a lot. It's because mainly stress, and I've been eating a lot of junk food lately because I've been out of the house a lot. So I haven't really had much healthy choices to eat. But I am working on it. I'm currently under antibiotics for facial acne. I'm also trying to change up my diet a little bit. I'm using brand new products for the face as well that I get from work. But for now, I'm just going to stick for what it is. I didn't want to do this tutorial just because I am breaking out a lot and I felt like it wasn't going to look good on camera. But you know what? I decided, whatever. If this video is not gonna get done today, it will never get done. So I decided to just go ahead, deal with it. It will end up looking however it will end up looking. So at this point, I pretty much could care less. So my eyebrows are pretty much done and filled in. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to prime and conceal my eyes so that the eyeshadows really stand out. So for that, I'm gonna use the Maybelline Master Concealer, and this is in the shade Light Medium. Now, I'm not going to go too heavy-handed on this. I just want to use it as an eyeshadow primer. So I'm literally just squirting a little bit in the back of my hand. And I'm taking the Morphe E23 brush, and I'm going to use that to lightly pack it on my lid and blend it out. I said I wasn't going to go too heavy-handed, but yeah, here we are. And I love using this brush to blend out concealer. I originally started using it to blend out eyeshadow, but ever since I kind of started using it just for concealer itself, it's actually been quite a charm. It blends it all beautifully. You don't need a beauty blender with this brush. It's honestly really amazing. And now I'm going to set the eyes, and for that I'm actually going to use the Eyeshadow Classic from the Tarte palette on a fluffy brush from Sedona Lace. This is the number EB13 brush, and I'm just going to use it to pat the concealer so that it does not crease and the eyeshadows blend in smoothly on top. Okay, so I zoomed you guys in so that y'all can see what's happening a little bit more up close and personal, so let's get started. Forgive me about my ugly bare face. So, I think I'm going to take the shade Innocent, and I'm going to use this right as my transition shade. I'm taking the Innocent shade and applying this on my crease as my transition shade, and I'm blending it in window wiping motions and at the same time moving my brush in kind of circular motions to smoke it out. If you're asking, the point of a transition shade is just so that the other eyeshadows can blend out quite nicely and blend in with the rest of the eye. So now I'm going to take the shade Whimsy, which is a warm orangey shade, and I'm going to pat that right in the outer corner of the eye and the inner corner and pretty much just blend it until you have kind of a smoky eye going on, like a smoky halo eye. And I'm taking the brush that I used for my transition shade and pretty much just blending these two shades together. Now I'm going to take the shade Smoked, and I'm going to put that exactly where I put the orange, just to emphasize the darkness a little bit. I want this eye to be really, really dark, so we're just going to keep building up the darkness from there until we get to where we pretty much want. And you don't want to blend it so far out, you still want some of the other shades to peek through just a tiny bit. So that's why whenever I add more darkness, I'm pretty much just keeping it below whatever other shade I applied, just so that the other shades peek through a little bit and you have that soft transition going on in the crease. And if you're asking why I'm leaving the center of the lid open, is because I'm going to apply another shade later there, but we're gonna get to that in a little bit. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of Punk and apply this to where I applied the darker shades, just to emphasize the darkness a tiny, tiny bit more. Again, we're just building up darkness for now, making this look grungy, smoky, and dark. So now we're going to go ahead with the star of the show, which is the shade Trendy, and I'm going to pick that up on my Morphe flat brush. It does not have a number, it actually kind of rubbed off, so I'm so sorry. But I'm going to pat that all over the lid, at least the center where we don't have any color whatsoever. And I really want the shade to stand out as much as possible, so I'm taking my brush and I'm spritzing it with a little bit of Fix Plus. Then I'm dipping it into Trendy and using it as a little liquid paint and applying this to the mobile lid. Did I just really say mobile lid? Oh my god. But yes, I'm doing this. Same thing with the other eye. Not gonna lie guys, reasons why I bought this palette is because of this shade. Like, there's absolutely no other reason. I already have these shades and plenty other palettes, but I just had to buy this one because it had one shade that I wanted. Now I'm applying the Punk shade to the inner and outer corner of the eye just to darken it up a little bit more. And I'm blending it out with the exact same Morphe N433 brush along the crease. This time I'm going in very, very softly to make sure that the color stays there. And I'm just basically diffusing it. I don't want to get rid of the color, I just want to diffuse it, if you get what I'm saying. So I feel like the lids are pretty much done for now, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to the rest of my face, and for that I will zoom you guys out, and then we will go back to the bottom lash line. So I'll be right back in just a sec. Okay, so I zoomed you guys out so that we can move on to the rest of the face. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to prime, and for that I'm going to be using my Fenty Beauty primer. I've actually been using this a lot lately for all my looks, and I really, really like it, so I'm just going to squeeze a couple pumps in my hand and just spread this throughout my face. Primer is actually really hydrating, one thing that I noticed, and it's also very gentle on the skin. It works for every single skin type as well, so if you're dry, if you're oily, and I'm really hella oily, it actually keeps me looking matte. For some reason, I'm not even sure if it's supposed to be a mattifying primer, but I find no problem with it whatsoever. I'm very big on primer too, which is the thing, so this one works just fine for me, and I really like it. And for foundation today, I'm busting out an oldie but a goodie. I'm using my MAC Studio Fix Fluid in NC42. Pretty much same thing. I'm just gonna pump a little bit in the back of my hand. And this time, I'm actually gonna take a foundation brush, and I'm going to just dot it on certain areas of my face. And then I'm taking the e.l.f. foundation brush, and I'm going to just buff this into the skin. Now I'm going to take my foundation from Clinique, and this is the Beyond Perfecting foundation in the shade 16 Toasted Wheat. I love it because it's a foundation and a concealer. And I'm going to spread that throughout my face for a tiny bit more coverage. I do like my coverage, just reminding you, which is why I'm kind of layering foundation after foundation, but we're going to make it work. And as you can see, that's covering up a lot already. For my concealer today, I'm going to be using the exact same concealer I used earlier, and I'm actually going to use very little of it. I'm not going to use, like, usually the big amounts that I use. I'm just going to literally dot this under my eyes, a little bit on the nose, and a little bit in here to brighten the area up, but I'm not going to go as crazy as I go sometimes. And with the Beauty Blender, I'm just blending everything out. Now to set the face, I'm actually going to be using the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder, and I have the sample size version of it because I wanted to try it out before I gave my full review on the product. I actually like it, so I'm going to use it to set my under eyes real quick. And then I'm going to take the rest of the product on my Real Techniques sponge and just pound that on my nose to set it, because my nose does tend to get really oily. I know I look crazy, but trust me when I say my nose gets really oily over time, so I need to bake the crap out of it. So pretty much the inner portion of my face is already set, so what I do is that I always set the outer perimeter with a powder foundation. And for that, I'm going to be using my Kat Von D powder foundation, and this is in the shade Medium 62. I'm just pretty much going to take that and set the outer portion of my face. But to bronze up the skin, I'm actually going to be using my MAC Mineralized Skin Bronzer in the shade Give Me Sun. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to start right on my temple. And I'm pretty much just going to bronze my face, add some color up in there, and contour my facial features. I'm going to go ahead and hit the chin too, and the cheekbones. Hit that jawline. This is a really good way if you are looking to look more tanner, if you want some color back in your face. Bronzing is going to be perfect. And I bronze a lot, so bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and dust this powder away from the nose. And then with the same bronzer, I'm just going to slightly go down the sides of my nose, just ever so slightly. Now I'm going to go ahead and spray MAC Fix Plus all over my face to get rid of any powderiness and to also set the makeup a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and kind of refill in these eyebrows because I did lose a little bit of the color when I was putting on all those powders, so I'm going to fix this up real quick. So to finish up the eye, I'm going to take the Urban Decay Glide On Slide On Pencil, and I'm going to apply this right on my waterline. And next I'm going to take the shade Drama, and I'm going to apply that right underneath on the bottom lash line. I'm actually gonna take a little bit of the shade Mod and apply this right in the bottom lash line as well, just to warm it up and make it look more red. Where do I go? Now I'm gonna take the shade Punk and I'm going to use that to smudge out the liner on the lower lash line. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the shade Glam and I'm going to put that right in the inner corner of my eye. And I'm gonna apply this right in the inner corner of my eye as highlight. And now what I did was that I wiped away whatever I could from my lips and I'm going to apply a gloss from BH Cosmetics, and this is in the shade Pink Satin. It's actually kind of a clear gloss, but it does have a little bit of a shimmer to it and it looks lovely. And I don't want a lot going on. Again, I want this to look pretty masculine, so I'm just adding a tiny bit of gloss and that's pretty much it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my beard, and I actually have a tutorial already up on my channel on how I usually do that, so I will just link that down below. And yeah, I'm gonna do that and get right back to you guys. Okay, so now I'm pretty much filling in my beard, and actually I did this new trick, and I'm taking a fluffy brush from Morphe. I'm taking the exact same shadow that I used to pretty much fill in my beard, and I'm just dipping it in there. I'm tapping away the excess, and I'm just running it through the facial hair area, and that's actually kind of filling it in a little bit better. And to set everything, I'm going to be using the NYX's Dewy Setting Spray to give me kind of like a dewy mist. I'm not really going to highlight or anything because I can actually see that the foundation already is kind of giving me a natural glow. So to just bump that up, I'm going to use a Dewy Setting Spray. And that is pretty much it for this look. I really hope that you all enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if I was not as talkative as I usually am. Again, I'm kind of tired, so it's really hard for me to concentrate on one thing while trying to do another thing, which is talking and doing my makeup, so it gets really complicated. In my total review about this palette, I actually like it. I'm not gonna lie, some of the shades I did have to work with a little bit to at least add some of the color intensity in there. I'm not sure if it was me in general or just the brushes that I was using or the palette itself, but it did take me a little while to add the colors. They blend beautifully, but it did take me a while to build up the color intensity because I'm not sure if it was the pigmentation or what I was using. I mean, it's very pigmented now, as you guys can see. It actually paid off, and I really like how this look turned out. But it did take me a while to at least get the color payoff that I wanted. So I really hope that you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, the links will be down below, as well as a list of products I use in this video. So I will see you next time, and bye!